All right, guys, welcome back to A2D, Agree, Disagree. As always, I'm Michael. I'm here with Brian. We had a big trade today. We discussed Tyreek to Miami. We talked about the Miami, impact of it all and the fantasy impact of it all. So now we want to talk about the Kansas City side and kind of what they're getting from this trade and kind of the fantasy implications and the real life implications of what this trade means for them. So if you're a Kansas City fan, I wouldn't be sitting here, holding your head down because you guys got to return too. But BT, how do you feel? Like, first of all, who do you think won this trade overall?
You just beat me to it. Chiefs, period. Chiefs won it. Tyreek, if you want to, I understand where the Chiefs are coming from. You got an elite quarterback, and guess what? That was your second option. You got your second option on the team, demanding to be the highest paid pass catcher in the game's history. He's not worth that. Your tight end's better, period. You got your quarterback who's better. So to be able to pay that guy that much, if that's what his demands were, if he is not willing to move money around and help the team and reduce his cap a little bit, because he's not worth Devontae Adams. Tyreek Hill, you're not Devontae Adams. So for me, the Chiefs, you got a 2022 first rounder, a 2022 second rounder, number 29 and number 50 overall this year, on top of the picks that you already have. And then you also get a 2022 fourth rounder. You can get guys in the fourth round, man. So they just picked up three picks where they can get three value players for the price of one. They got Juju Smith Schuster, they got Mecole Hardman, they got Travis Kelsey, and they got an all world quarterback. The Chiefs, you didn't rely on Tyreek Hill. So if you're a Chiefs fan, I'm actually excited. You got rid of a guy that obviously cared more about himself. So doses.
Peace. Yeah, man, you kind of already hit on it. I think Kelsey, as far as fantasy implications, he was already kind of a first rounder last year. He definitely, dude, kind of flies into that top pass catcher because now his target share is going to go way up. We talked about Mecole Hardman, kind of a similar player to Tyreek Hill, not as talented, not as fast, but he could kind of step into that role a little bit. He definitely takes a step up. I would not overdraft him in fantasy. I would
Don't
probably
do it.
hang out. I'd probably hang out. If he's on your bench this year, you're happy. I wouldn't, and maybe a flex spot, but I would not put him in wide receiver one, wide receiver two conversation. He does
Hell
not
no.
fill Tyreek's shoes.
Wide receiver three is even a stretch for me, man. It's
Yeah,
a deep position. You can get guys that you can really trust. And right now, it's hard to trust anybody but Travis Kelsey, who for
exactly.
me, we talked about it earlier. For me, might be a first round pick, depending on if you get it in the late round, in the late picks in the first round, early second round. He's going to be off the board. Target share, you just mentioned it, man. Dude's going to be
Now,
off the chart.
yeah, as far as ADP, you are going to start seeing him. Guys like him and Juju go in the fifth round, sixth round. I think that will be too high, but I can see it happening for sure. I can already start telling you like they're going to be put in the top 25 wide receiver conversation because of Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes loves him some Travis Kelsey, and they're going to start running the ball more. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire might have taken a bump up. So there's a lot of things here. Not only that, but there's two guys on that roster that are big, big question marks for me that might bite into some target share. And those two names are Josh Gordon and Corey Coleman. Okay, now if you guys, obviously everybody knows who Josh Gordon is. He's the weed smoker of the entire group. But you know what? He was a talented motherfucker, dude. And if he can get, I don't think he'll ever
And
get back
dude,
there.
and they're not done. Corey Coleman, yeah, cool. We'll see if the comeback story happens, but the Chiefs aren't relying on that. I could promise you that. They just got rid of a cap hit on their team, so they just created some cap space. So
Mm-hmm.
they Jarvis Landry is a free agent. Imagine him coming over, or one of these guys. They're not done. They have the draft too. They can maybe draft a guy in the first round. So I don't think it's going to be any of these other like Kelsey's the guy he can trust. In money situations, we know he's going to go to the guy he trusts, but they're not done. The Chiefs are not done. They're going to add some speed. They're going to try to replace that guy, and they're going to be fine. I honestly think the Chiefs won this trade, and they're gonna if they can add some depth overall to their team, which their team needs, then I think they're going to be fine.
Because they also have a cap space. They have some holes on defense. They might be able to bring Tyron Matthew back now at safety. So depending on how we look, big picture. So yes, you lose one player and you gain six draft picks over the next 2 years. I mean, you can fill holes
Valuable
fast.
picks.
Yeah, real that. Yeah, they now have the 29 and they have back-to-back picks at the end of the first round this year. That could also, I mean, depending on how aggressive they want to be, they can kind of move. They can combine those picks and move up for a receiver to replace him, depending on what they want to do. But as of right now, as of 11:15 a.m. March 23rd, Travis Kelce is I think would be a lock at like the 8, 9, 10 spot in the first round of the fantasy draft. And, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire bumps up into that, third round conversation. But overall, yeah, the Chiefs won this trade for one player. They're not having to pay a guy $30 million. That's insane to me for a guy who relies on speed.
Right. And I don't see the Chiefs. I agree. They definitely won the trade for me. And I don't see them going up. There's not a guy that's really worth putting picks together and going up for. So I just see them sticking around, making quality picks and addressing their roster throughout. And the question is, they won the division? I'm not sure how many years in a row. Seems like probably 5, 6. Are they going to get another one? Are they the favorites to win the division again? They lose Tyreek Hill, and then in the other division, everybody in that division is gaining people, adding people, going all in to try to catch these guys. And here they are, lost their wide receiver one. So are the Chiefs still the favorite?
That division is so tough to determine who the favorite in that division is right now. The Chiefs, I thought, still were, only because they had the most chemistry and they were together. Losing Tyreek might change that a little bit. If you're going to ask me right now, if I was a betting person, which I am at times, if you were to tell me to put money on a team right now in the AFC West, I'm putting my money on the Chargers. That's just who I am right now. I think it's just going to depend on chemistry. They are so good on paper on offense and defensive side of the ball. That's who I'm going to bet on. The Chiefs probably still have, they have Patrick Mahomes, who, yeah, he didn't look good in the playoff game last year against Cincy, but it's still Patrick Mahomes, and that kid he's a Hall of Famer. He will be a future Hall of Famer, and he will, one of the best quarterback talents we've seen over the last 10, 15 years. And then you have Russ Wilson, who he's that guy. And then you have Derek Carr, who, yeah, he can be that guy too. I mean, he's probably one of the most underrated guys, and people like to talk shit on him, but he's a baller too. So, but I like Justin Herbert, and I like the pieces in that team. So if you ask me, Chargers,
honestly, and this is we agree, man. This is one of the rare situations we actually agree. I was surprised to hear you say that, but Justin Herbert is right there with Mahomes to me anyway. So, and right now he's just got a little more firepower. He's got the better roster around him. Eckler's better than Helaire. You got Keenan Allen, who can get open just like Travis Kelce can. And you also got Mike Williams. And they just got Gerald Everett as a decent tight end. Their defense, though, is the biggest thing. They added J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack. So the defense of the Chargers, to me, is better. Derwin James, they're loaded on both sides of the ball. So to me, coaching, though, the Chiefs have the coaching advantage because Staley like to go for it. So, but to me, man, I'm with you. I think the Chargers I got them down for my division winners in the AFC West right now. And the Chiefs are going to have to battle it out for a wild card, man. They're going to have to battle out with the teams I mentioned before, the Browns, Ravens, Dolphins, Titans, Colts, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, Patriots. There's going to be 8, 9 teams. The Chiefs are going to have to be battling out for a wild card, or they could win the division. They're not dead yet. I mean, but right now, I just think on paper, and if you ask me, Justin Herbert, even if Mahomes is better because he has the MVP, he's got the Super Bowl, then Herbert's right here. It's not like the gap ain't this big. Herbert's right there. Then the rest of the roster makes up for it. It's a team game, man. And ultimately, I think the Chargers attacked this offseason hard, and the Chiefs are doing nothing but losing guys. But they're going to add guys. The draft is going to be where the Chiefs really make their comeback right here with this trade. So,
yeah, and the AFC is just crazy. I mean, there's 12 teams. I mean, unless if you're Houston, Jacksonville, or the Jets, I mean, you have a chance at the playoffs spot. I mean, Jacksonville, they're going out and spending money, but I think they're spending money on tier 2 teams. But yeah, man, as far as the Chiefs are concerned, they hold 29 and 30. They're gonna be players in the draft this year. they're still a good team. They're still a good team. It's hard to play in Kansas City. They're going to be there.
Are there a playoff team still? Because
If you, we talked about this in the last video. Because of how deep the AFC is, it's so hard to say. And a big piece like Tyreek, that's a big piece. I say yes. I say yes. I do say yes. They make a wild card. But damn, man, I won't be surprised if they don't. Let's just put it that way. I won't be surprised if they're not looking at it.
And I'm kind of, that's where we disagree, because for me, they are going to make. Mahomes is not going to be denied. This might inspire him a little bit. He might actually elevate his game. He's going to play pissed off, and I think Mahomes he's too good to not miss the playoffs. So, and they got the coach, so I think that they'll be in there. I just don't know if it's going to be for the division, because that division is a gauntlet. So I do think they're a playoff team, though. We'll see Patty in the playoffs.
All right, guys. Well, yeah, there's news hitting every single day at this point. It's March Madness here in the NFL. Go ahead and hit us a like and subscribe for us, and we'll be seeing you soon.